Yesterday we were discussing about independent system operator, right? The role of independent system operator. There are two types of markets predominantly. One is pool-co market. The other one is the bilateral contracts market. The combination of these two is called as a hybrid market. In a pool-co market, the ISO will handle the bids, finalize the scheduling, and then instruct the transmission operator. Whereas in bilateral contract model, he will not do bids, he will not take up any scheduling, he will just give instructions to the transmission operator. That's what we have discussed yesterday. And there are a very big set of rules which are laid by FERC, which are followed by most of the countries across the globe. So the ISO has his own principles, and his role is predominant. If you carefully see, he has a very big role in pool-co model. So today we will be discussing about what do you mean by pool-co model. As already been mentioned, what is actually this pool? How power is exchanged in a pool. So today we will have a quick introduction regarding the pool. And this pool is, which is just like a market. This market is generally termed as power exchange, or what we call it as an electricity market. Right? This one is technically called as power exchange. Shortly, it is represented as PX. In India, Indian Power Exchange is the place where companies in India will exchange the power, and it is referred as IEX, Indian Electricity Exchange. But the common terminology is power exchange, which is often referred as PX. And today we will have a quick look about power exchange. In the next classes, we will see how NCP and whoever or the participants, how they behave. Okay. So today's topic is exclusively on power exchange. So what we will learn today in power exchange? What we will learn today in today's class? The major objective of today's class is to give you a glimpse about power exchange and the functions of PX, and predominantly we will discuss about participants of PX. We have seen that there are three major players. Who are the three major players? One from the GENCOs, other from the DISCOs, right? And the other one is the ISO, Independent System Operator. Isn't it? So these are the participants so far we have seen. But other than this, there are so many participants in the bidding process. So let's have a look about who are the participants in this process. And if possible, if we do have time, we'll discuss about how MCP is determined. Or else we will discuss it tomorrow. Okay. So first of all, we'll concentrate on power exchange, functions of power exchange, and participants in power exchange. Okay. So now we'll have a small introduction now. Introduction in the sense that we will discuss about the current scenario. Okay. Now, if I am a participant, let us suppose if I am GENCO, and if I am ready to sell the power, isn't it? Or if I am ready to buy the power, if I am the buyer, or I may be a disco, or I may be a customer, whatever you call me. So what are my specifications which I'll be mentioning there? What are the terms which I'll be asking? Buyer, what he will be asking? The price at which he wishes to buy, and the quantity which he wishes to buy, and the quality which he expects. These, apart from schedule. Normally bidding will be done based upon the schedule. So for tomorrow means, so we will be going for tomorrow itself. So schedule is not an important thing, but what the terms are, these are termed as, these are the terms which he will be expecting. He will be having certain price in his mind, he will be having certain quantity, and he will be having certain quality which he will be expecting. Similarly, the Genco people also, while entering into this pool, they will have some mindset about the price which they want to sell and the quantity which is available with them for selling. And generally, they don't think about quality. They will just prefer about the price and quantity. But whereas these people, they will expect the price, quantity, and also quality. So, in a bilateral contracts model, most probably an agreement will be reached between these two guys directly based upon these terms: price, quantity, quality, and also schedule. Isn't it? Whereas in a pool-co model, where there's a power exchange, we will be having only these inputs. We will be having these inputs, isn't it? So based upon that, some independent player will be, independent system operator will be finalizing the thing, isn't it? So just I want to show you that these are the terms: price, quantity, quality, and schedule. So these are the terms which are specified by the participants, who generally participate either in bilateral contracts or in pool-co model. Okay. So now we will omit this bilateral contracts and we will concentrate only on this pool-co model, where we do have the power exchange. Okay. So how to define this marketplace, or how we define this power exchange? It is termed as a marketplace. Power exchange is termed as a marketplace to trade energy and power. To trade energy and power, not directly the commodities and the services also. Energy and power services in a very competitive, or what we call it as a healthy manner. So power exchange is termed as a marketplace to trade energy and power services in a very competitive manner. Sometimes in some textbooks, in some literature, it is often referred to as spot price pool also. It is also referred to as price pool, spot pool. So what are the advantages of this one? What are the advantages if we do have a common place? We have discussed already in the previous class. What is the advantage, Beta? All the participants, whoever are there, all the participants get a fair chance, right? Get a fair chance to buy or sell the power. Based upon their bid, this is most important. Based upon their bid, they will be having a fair chance to either buy the power or sell the power. Power in the sense of electricity. You don't take it as an abstract word, it is a noun which is referred to as a. So based upon their bids, which will be having quantity and price. So based upon their bids, which do contain quantity and price, whoever the buyer or the seller, they can have a very fair chance of handling the business. This is the advantage of a power exchange. Now let's see We have mentioned very clearly participants, right? Now let's come back to the point. Who are the participants in this part exchange? Who are the participants in the power exchange? We do know that there are two participants, isn't it? Who are the two participants? Broadly, we say them as GenCo, who will sell their power, and the other one is DISCOM, who are ready to buy the power. This is what we know so far, right? This is what a common electrical engineer thinks. These people, they will buy the power, sell the power, and these people will buy the power. Apart from this, there are so many participants actually in the market. Now let's have a quick look about who are the participants. First, let me list out the names, and next we will discuss the functions of each of these guys. Okay. So all these things are, I will refer to them as utilities. Whether it is a generating utility or distribution utility, I will represent it as utility. And there will be power marketers. There will be power marketers. There will be brokers. There will be load aggregators. See, different names are there. Load aggregators. And some people who are on their own to buy the power. Those are called as retailers or individual customers. And large scale consumers. Normally, industry people are called as large scale consumers. They want to bid on their own rather than relying on the DISCOM. So large scale consumers, I'll mention them in the bracket as industry. And lastly, co-generators. And lastly, co-generators. Sorry for the inconvenience. Is the screen visible, right? Anyone? Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So these are the participants. See, I have mentioned very clearly that there are literally 7 different types of participants. You might have heard only about these two guys, generation company and distribution company. These I have referred them as utilities. So apart from utilities, now we will discuss about the functions of these guys. What they will do actually in a power exchange. Okay. So try to remember the participants: utilities, power marketers, brokers, load aggregators, retailers, large scale consumers, co-generators. Okay. So let's have a quick look about the functions of all these guys. Maybe in the future, someone of you can become a power marketer. Someone of you can become a broker. Someone of you can become a load aggregator. Who knows? So these are the different roles an electrical engineer can play in the future. So let's have a quick look about these things. It's not that you always want to become an electrical engineer or a design engineer or something else. You can be any of these guys. You can work in a power aggregator company. You can work in a retailer company, electricity retailer or energy retailer company. Now, after listing the 7 names, we have listed 7 names, right? So the first one was utilities, right? The first one was, now we will discuss about participants, okay? And the participants, the first thing which we have mentioned is utilities. I'm not discussing about utilities because you know about utilities, the GenCo and DISCO. They have very clear information, they have very clear view of what they want to sell, what they want to buy, what quality, what quantity, and what. So I'm not discussing much about utilities. We have been discussing this since the start of this class, right? So I'll be directly going into the second participant. Who is the second participant? Who is the second participant, better?
Power market.
Yes, the marketing people. You know the name marketing. What do you mean by marketing? Marketing is nothing but selling some good, right? So here the good is electricity. So the people who market the electricity, just like any other good, they are called as power marketers. So very clearly, you know that marketing is nothing but selling a good. So who needs these guys? Clearly you say, వీళ్ళకి కావాలా వీళ్ళకి కావాలా? Who among these two will require power market? Anyone? Power marketers, they market something and they will sell on our behalf, isn't it? So among these two guys, who require marketers? Can anybody say?
Genco.
Yes, Genco will require market because Genco people, they won't be having, let us suppose Genco people are so busy in generating electricity and they don't have any idea. Let us suppose someone in your class, let us suppose Sai has got a generating company, Sai Solar Power Plant. He is so technically good that he has started his own solar plant and he has got abundant energy and he is ready to sell it. And the government is not ready to buy it. So he wishes to sell it in open market. So he doesn't have any knowledge. So he will immediately ask for this power market. Maybe Sai is there. Sai's friend somewhere. Yes is there. Let us suppose. So yes is there. He will start handling this electricity in the power exchange. So these guys are called as power marketers. They will charge too much amount of money. Okay. So power marketers, it is also one of the participants in power exchange. So let us have a quick look of what power marketers are. I will write here. He is an agent for generation facility. He is an agent for generation facility. So what he does? His primary job is market power, right? Market electricity, electric power, on behalf of GENCOs, on behalf of generating company, which he is representing. So let us suppose if you are a marketer, what you will do? He will offer some services, isn't it? He will offer some services to the buyer. Because at the end of the day, he is acting on his behalf, so he has taken responsibility to sell the power. So what he will do? He will give some stocks to the buyer, right? Is it? So what he will do? What sort of services he will offer? He will offer some transmission services. He will offer some transmission services. Let us suppose this guy has a transmission network also. What he will do immediately? Okay, I will sell on your behalf. So I will directly contact some customer C1 and I will sell him through my transmission network. So power marketers, they will also offer transmission services if they do have, or they will offer some additional services. Additional services I already mentioned, what they are called as ancillary services. So this they will do. They will just act as an intermediary between buyer and seller. What is the advantage with these guys? What is the advantage to the generation company? What is the advantage to the customers? Can anybody say? This is Genco, this is customer, right? Or what we call it as a business, seller and buyer. What is the advantage with the power marketers? Can anybody? What is the advantage for these guys? Even though he has no knowledge on how to sell electricity, so he is getting enough free time so that he can concentrate on the generation. So entire marketing is being done by him. And customer can ask for reduced prices, isn't it? So this is a win-win situation for both sides. So he can exclusively concentrate on the technical things, and this guy can bargain for more price, sorry, for lower price. So what is the advantage with this guy? It is a win-win situation for both generations. Even the buyer also can bargain can get lower prices. This is the advantage of power market. On the other hand, I can say, see better, power marketers can own transmission services. There is another word which I call as broker. Sir, what is the difference between broker and a power market? Technically, both do the same job, but unofficially both do the same job, but technically they do have different names. Power marketers, they work on behalf of generation companies. Brokers, they can act on behalf of either these guys or these guys. They are just brokers. That's it. So if they act on behalf of generation companies, they will get the name of power marketer. If they act on behalf of some other people, they will get the name of broker. So act on others' behalf or other participants. Understood now what is the difference between a broker and a power marketer? He is an agent for other entities. I can write it as he is an agent for, this guy is an agent for generation facility. So for other participants. He is called as a broker. So what a broker does? What does he do? Broker, he negotiates, right? Technical word is called as negotiation, right? In negotiations, what contracts between buyer and seller? He is negotiating a contract between buyer and seller on the sale of electricity. Do remember, beta, he does not own any generation facility or transmission facility. He is just negotiation. He is called as a negotiator. He does not own anything. He is just sitting. He will negotiate the thing. And do remember, beta, he does not own any responsibility on this. He does not own any responsibility of schedule or transfer. See the clear difference. Here, he will take the responsibility of selling the electricity on his behalf. He will sell the electricity. He will talk to the customer services. He will talk to the transmission services to provide everything. But here, broker, he will not do anything. He will just be a negotiator. So, any person who has very good communication skills, who can make a deal very coolly between two parties, then he can become a broker. Even anywhere outside or also even in the electricity market. They don't take any responsibility of transfer. They don't take any responsibility of scheduling of electricity. They don't own anything. They sit, they come, they will satisfy the two parties, they will negotiate the deal, they will take the commission and they will go. They will be very good at market, they will be very good at communicating. So these people are called as brokers. They will be called as power brokers or electricity brokers. Even we might be seeing these guys in our private things also, even in our private life also. See, if we do have a flat or something residential things to sell, we'll automatically contact the brokers, right? What do brokers do? They will just negotiate the deal. They won't take any responsibility. They will just negotiate the deal between the buyer and the seller, and they will take some commission for that, isn't it? So that's the job of a broker, isn't it? And next is, what is the other thing which I have mentioned? Power marketer is done, broker is done. So, who are the other guys? Can anybody?
Load aggregators.
Yes. There is some other guy called as load aggregator. So who is a load aggregator? Load aggregator can be anybody, beta. He can be a power marketer, he can be a broker, or he can be any public agency or something else. Now, for discussing about load aggregator, I'm gonna erase this thing. I will show you. Now this is it. I hope you can see this one. There are two generating components. There are large number of customers, right? You can see from C1 to CA. So in this process of negotiating or anything, who will always get the biggest margin, beta? Who will, of all these customers, who will be the biggest winner, beta? You can see the person who goes with a larger hand, he will be the winner all the time, isn't it? This is what happens everywhere. So these small customers who do have all requirement of 5 megawatts, 10 megawatts, 20 megawatts, 12 megawatts, 10 megawatts, they will be left out, isn't it? They can't bargain because they are very small. The requirement is very small. So they will be neglected most of the time. They may not get the thing which they will be asking. In that case, what is the best way to do? Form a group. There is a famous Telugu proverb, right? తన్నే కలిసారనుకోరా దేనైనా సాధించవచ్చు అవునా సో ఇన్ ద సేమ్ వే why not these people join? So what is the combined demand? Let us suppose these people have very mutual interest and the 30, 40, 52, 57. Now this number is bigger, isn't it? So rather than lying on a very low turf with some small requirements, why not we gather together to form a bigger? So now 57 is a very big number, which is more predominant in this market, isn't it? So the person who handles all these guys, who acts on behalf of all these small customers, who aggregates these guys, is called as a load aggregator. So whoever takes the job of joining these people, whoever makes these people into a group, so that guy is called as load aggregator. Maybe he is one of these guys, or he may be a power marketer, he may be a broker, or it may be a government entity. Whoever takes this job, he is called as load aggregator. Okay. So what is his job, guys? I'll write down his job. He combines. So what he is combining here? He is combining loads of the people of smaller loads, right? He is combining smaller loads. So what is the advantage of this one? Facilitating the sale of electricity or the buying of electricity will be easier, isn't it? So with the advantage of aggregating the loads, we can have what can we have? We can have a better contract, isn't it? Better terms. This is the advantage of load aggregation. Okay. Next is load aggregator completed. Next is retailer. Okay. Next is retailer. Now retailer, let's see. Now see the difference between load aggregator means these people have combined And the person who is combining all these guys, who is aggregating these guys, he is called as a load aggregator. So he will sit on behalf of all these guys and make the trade. Now, I'm coming to retailer. See now, there is no load aggregator, let us suppose. Now, this guy has barged in and he has got the power. And these guys have not got the power, let us suppose, or these people couldn't make any some better contract. Assuming that. So this guy has got the electricity. Now, he in turn sells to these guys. Understand now what is the difference between load aggregator and a retailer? Retailer himself is purchasing from generating companies, and again, in turn, he is providing electricity to some other guys. This is called as a retailer. So he is effectively an electricity service provider. Isn't it? He is an electricity service provider who enters into a direct transaction with end-use customers and also with the generating companies. Got it? So these guys are called as retailers. So who can be a retailer? Anyone can be a retailer. Maybe an aggregator can act as a retailer, broker can be acting as a retailer, marketer also can be acting as a retailer. They can act as a retailer. Even if you see, the guy who has made a contract on behalf of, he can also, let us suppose this is 67, right? There is some load aggregator 1. So on behalf, and he has made an agreement, maybe he has bought some 80 megawatts of power. So he will give 57 to all of these guys, and the remaining 23 he will start selling to some other guys. So he may act as a retailer also, load aggregator. Understand now? This is the concept of retailer. The same way we do our daily customer goods, right? We will be finding the shops which are near to our home. They are retailers. Are they generating the things? No. They are getting it from somewhere and they are selling it to our home, right? So these guys are called as retailers. They neither purchase electricity nor they directly consume electricity. They will just act as mediators, right? The DISCOM is generally, unofficially it is termed as a retailer, isn't it? But since we are representing it as a utility government, unofficially it can be termed as a retailer. Next. Still any things which have forgot? Utilities, power marketers, brokers, load aggregators, retailers, and large customers, large industrial customers, right? Large industrial customers. Now, I'll show you once again here. There is DISCOM 1 and DISCOM 2 who will be participating from the buyer side. And these guys, they will be giving supply to different people and they will be acting as retailers, or they can act as power aggregators or load aggregators or something like that. And in between, these people, they may directly enter, or these people, they may take some power marketer help. And in between, there may be some brokers. You can go through brokers or you can make direct things. And there will be some customers. Let us suppose this is like that. But there is a very big company which requires large amount of power daily. So that guy, instead of going with DISCO 1 or DISCO 2, he will directly enter. He will directly enter the market because he might be requiring on a large scale and a continuous and reliable and uninterrupted power supply. So he will directly enter the market and he will purchase the power and he makes a deal with these guys. So these people are called as large industrial customers. So what is their basic characteristic? They may need continuous, or they may need some quality, or they may be some other terms which they might be expecting, right? They may be having a large scale requirement. So these guys, they will directly enter into the market and they will do the business. isn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I have forgotten one more thing. So what is the last one, guys? Co-generator. Yes. This is a new word, right? You might have not heard about this co-generator. What do you mean by a co-generator? Co-generators, this is a new word. I want to introduce you to co-generation. You might have heard about generators, right? Then what do you mean by co-generator? I do have gas power plant. Let us suppose this is myself. And I do have a gas power plant. And I do have 3 houses. So I do have a contract to supply heat to these plants. 1, 2, 3, 4. My job is to supply heat only. My job is to supply heat only. So in this process of supplying heat, maybe I may be developing electricity. But so I do have 2 things. I am generating heat and I am also generating electricity. I am providing heat to these guys and I am generating electricity. Or maybe I may water supplier. I am supplying water for house 1, house 2, and house 3, and house 4. In this process, maybe I am generating electricity also. These people are called as co-generators. Co-generators are those guys who produce electricity and also other form of useful thermal energy, such as heat, or they may be supplying some steam or heat or gas or something else, which is used for industrial or commercial or domestic purposes, for heating or cooling purposes. So they do generate electricity and also they do generate some other thermal things or some other like. So these people are called as co-generators. Their major job is this one, but they can also generate electricity. So whenever there is a requirement, they can come into handy. So these people also, they will be participating in the market. I hope you have got good information about what is this market and who are the participants of this market. So let's have a quick look. Utilities, power marketers, and after power marketers, we have discussed about brokers, load aggregators, retailers, large industrial customers, and next is co-generators. Isn't it? So these are the guys who generally participate in the So any one of you can become any one of these guys. These are the 7 different things. You may work in an utility, you may work in a power marketing company, you can work in a brokering company, you can work as a land aggregators, load aggregators. Whenever restructuring happens, these new positions will come into picture. So we will be getting jobs on a larger scale, electrical. Right now, we are only confined to the utilities. In our country, we are confined only to the utilities. But whenever the restructuring happens, really, whenever there is a chance of developing a power exchange on a large scale, then see how many number of jobs we are going to get. This is the opportunity for electrical engineers to go for restructuring through competitive environments. So that's it.